So whether you're a beginner in personal finance and looking for a stepping stone to start your investing journey, or you're an advanced, matured investor,
King in the castle, king in the castle.
researching for more ways to diversify your portfolio and looking for new ways to put that cash to good use. Either way, I promise that this video today is going to give you a good guideline to where you can potentially invest your money, even though at the end it is 100% your decision. What's going on, people, and welcome back. Make sure to say hi to Jimmy in the comments below. He missed you very much since the last video. Anyways, let's start with this nonsense. So, several years ago, I was searching the web for a complete guide to investing, and I found bits and pieces, but never a whole entire list of options that I can be like, well, I have this, I don't have this, and I want a little bit of that. And when I went to the bank and asked the same question, well, obviously they pushed the services that would make them the most money. Who would have thought that banks would do that? So here in this video today, I've compiled a list of investments that either I have invested in before and can vouch for, or I know other people who have. And since every investment carries out some risk, typically the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. Kind of like lottery, the odds of winning are so low that you're more likely to get hit by lightning than to win the big prize. But nevertheless, someone somewhere does win those millions and then gets hit by lightning. So, Confucius say, the younger you start investing, the more risk you can potentially tolerate. Meaning, your age can play a big role in what type of investments you choose since the time is on your side. But that's not always the case. If you're saving up for a special occasion, let's say a down payment or a wedding, then even if you're super young, you might want to choose the less risky option to invest that money into so that you don't lose it. Or maybe you want to see the entire list of investments right away. Yeah? Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Did you see it? Well, now you're gonna have to watch the video all the way down to the end, as that's where we have the more fun, riskier investment options. Okay, Jimmy, what do you say we get the cringy one out of the way first? Because I know for a fact this is not the reason why you clicked on this video, even though this investment is super important and we should never stop making that, and that is to invest in yourself. Read books, get updated on different computer programs, learn a new skill, and obviously watch random people on YouTube give financial tips. And so the absolute bottom of the barrel, and unfortunately the investment that we all make that guarantees that we lose money, and that is buying liabilities. Brand new cars, buying expensive clothes, buying small things for the kitchen that you will never use. These are all liabilities. These are all things that are guaranteed to lose value over time. And even if you try to resell them, they're guaranteed to be worth less than what you bought them for. And so I put this guy at the negative part of the risk scale. So if you're about to enter a recession, or you choose to save for a vacation, or just to have an emergency fund, it's always a good idea to keep some of that money in cash. This is a low risk investment. In fact, it's so low that I would put it at 0 on the risk scale. This is an investment that is guaranteed to go down in value as inflation eats right through it at approximately 2% a year. Meaning, if you had saved a $10 bill under your mattress in 2010, that same $10 bill would be around $8 in today's money. So moral of the story is, there are better ways to save your money than under the mattress. Another pretty reliable and secure way to store some money for a rainy day, and that would be by storing it in a savings account. In this case, you can start to profit anywhere between 0.2 and 1.5% of the total amount that you deposit on your end. While the bank that holds your money will take that money and invest it into bigger, better investment machines that's gonna make them a lot more profit. This is a very secure way to store your money, but just barely chasing that inflation rate at a really sad pace of approximately 0.5%. I would rate this investment a 1 on the risk scale, as its main purpose would be to securely save your money and also have quick access to it for whatever you need it for. There is an option to make around 1 to 2% annually by temporarily locking your money away with a bank for an agreed period of time into what Americans call a CD, a certificate of deposit, or Canadians call a GIC, a guaranteed investment certificate. Essentially, it works like a savings account in that you deposit your money into that account and you make profit on the interest. And the longer the term you lock it in for, the higher the interest. So let's address the big elephant in the room. Even though the interest rate is a little bit higher than a savings account, your money is being locked away. And if you desperately need that money before the term ends, you're going to be forced to pay a hefty fine if you end up taking that money out before the end of the term. I consider CDs and GICs a level 2 on the risk scale, and it's a relatively safe option if you're okay not having access to your funds for a certain period of time. Our next option is known to be the most reliable store of value, where the price of the investment will move in the opposite direction to the dollar. You might have guessed it, it's gold and silver. When the dollar is weak, the gold and silver prices go up, and when the dollar is strong, the gold and silver prices go down. And if you thought stashing some cash under your mattress was ridiculous, how about stashing some gold and silver under your pillow? That's gonna make sure to give you some bad night's sleep. Right, Jimmy? Well, actually, even though that is an option, nowadays you don't need to buy physical gold to invest into it. And instead, you can just buy an ETF that tracks the price of gold. And some very popular gold ETFs are GLD and GLDM. And so gold and silver, they hit the level 3 on my risk scale. Okay, this is where the low risk, old-fashioned investments start to evolve into slightly riskier opportunities. This is where your own due diligence is so important as we step into the world of the stock market. The following 3 investments I put on a level 4 of the risk scale, even though they all may fluctuate depending which type of investment you choose to purchase. Mutual funds, index funds, ETFs, they're all fundamentally similar, but they all have different fees and characteristics. A share of a fund is like a folder with small pieces of different companies in it. And when you buy a share of that fund, you technically buy that folder. And now you're an owner of a little bit of Apple, a little bit of Tesla, Lululemon, Whole Foods, and whatever was in that folder. And if you like that idea, now you can start to examine how much do you want to be involved in managing those funds. For example, if you choose to buy a mutual fund, you will have to pay a fee of around 1 to 2% to the bank, but that bank will entirely manage that folder for you. Assuming the investment performs well, let's say 12% increase. In that case, you don't have to worry about the fees because the profit you're making entirely covers the fee plus a little bit extra. Index funds and ETFs, they work in a similar way, but since they're not actively managed by the bank, the fees are a lot lower and a lot of the times can be a much better option for somebody who likes to direct their own investments.
Do you, boo-boo?
Okay, now we're moving into much riskier options that can obviously make you a lot more money. Location, location, location. That doesn't have to be a problem if you wish to invest in real estate, which is a risk level 5 on my spectrum. Buying an actual property can make you money in several ways. Number 1, you buy a house, you live in it, and you sell it for a lot more later. Boom, profit. Number 2, buy a house and rent it out for more than your mortgage. And now you have other people paying your mortgage. Boom. Profit. And number 3, buy a house, live upstairs and rent out the basement. Boom, more profit. And if you're concerned with the prices being so high at the moment, which I kind of am, you always have the option of investing in REITs. A real estate investment trust is like a pool of money that is collected to invest into income-producing properties. Could be shopping malls, apartment towers, or industrial buildings. And every time they pay rent, that money gets distributed between the shareholders, which is you. Well, you and a few hundred other people. Even though this is a less expensive and less risky way to work with real estate, you also make less profit than purchasing a property on your own. But the hot topic of the year is which stock is going up and which stock is tanking. When Apple takes a dive, every news channel is gonna broadcast it. And when Tesla climbs another 40% up, I'm sure you and me are gonna hear about it. Picking and investing in individual stocks can be very profitable if you know what to look for. If you're 18 and over, with the click of a button, you can open your own online brokerage. And instead of buying Starbucks coffees for a week, you're gonna buy a share of Starbucks. Or it could be other big companies that are strong, solid, well-established, and have a proven track record of minimum 10 to 15 years. Some companies pay a bonus to their shareholders every year in a form of a dividend, which you're gonna receive every 3 months or as a big lump sum once a year, as well as the price of the stock hopefully moving in the upwards direction. But I'm gonna leave this guy at 5.5 on the risk spectrum. Now we're really getting to the fun stuff, as the following several investment options are really for people with high risk tolerance.
Do you feel lucky, punk?
Because it's actually not always that when you buy a car, you lose money. There are many classic and antique cars that you can buy for a fair price and resell it for a lot higher in the future. And the same goes for some collectible items like Pokemon cards, sports cards, special types of books, could be paintings, even dolls and stamps. It's how rare the item is that gives it the edge to increase in value over time. I would keep this category of investments at level 6 on the risk scale, as you really have to have a good understanding of what grows in value. And if you're an extrovert or just know a lot of people who are open to talking about money, you can always offer money lending services. Let's say Jimmy needs some quick cash to open a restaurant and he knows I have some money to lend him. So he comes to me, we lock into an agreement for a specific time frame, we agree on the interest rate he's gonna pay me, we take the papers back to the lawyer to get everything signed, and done. Passive income at its finest. The only problem is if Jimmy does not deliver or files for bankruptcy,
I declare bankruptcy!
in that case, we have a problem. Insuring money to protect your capital in these cases is super important. And so, money lending services in this case goes into 6.5 level on the risk scale. And it's finally here, the moment we've been all waiting for. Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin.
So hot right now.
In this video, I'm not going to talk too much about what cryptocurrency is and what problem it's trying to solve. And instead, I'm going to make a video in the future about why I invest in Bitcoin and how my portfolio has been doing. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that juicy content. Now, back to the topic. We have a record of Bitcoin, which is the main cryptocurrency, and its price chart all the way since 2013, when it was only $100. Then in 2017, one Bitcoin was worth $20,000. Just 6 months ago, Bitcoin was back down to $9,000, and today, as of me filming this video, it's around $37,000. You can see why this is a level 7 on the risk scale. You have to have very high risk tolerance in order to handle such big drops in price. If you're not ready for such declines, stay away from cryptocurrency and instead try to educate yourself about what crypto is and what problems it's trying to solve. Putting aside those passive income investments and just focusing on primary income opportunities, this one is going to be level 8 on the risk scale. One of the main ways to create that income stability is by investing into a business or creating a trusted brand. In order to get there, be ready to sacrifice a lot of time and endure a lot of high risk, since most businesses don't even make it to 7 or even 6-figure profit margin. And if you don't want to open your own business, you can invest into an existing business. You do that by buying out somebody else's profitable business that just needs a little bit of repair. And if you made it this far in the video, I honestly appreciate your loyalty.
I appreciate you. You loyal.
Because we're finally at the last, final, most riskiest investment, which is penny stocks. You must have seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, where Jordan Belfort, after being let go from the New York Stock Exchange, jumps into a small brokerage firm to trade penny stocks.
I'm not leaving.
Also known as pink sheet stocks. These are companies that do not trade on the major stock exchange, such as New York Stock Exchange, and trade for under $5, but also have a huge potential to either 10x or 50x in price. Because penny stocks are so volatile, they also have the risk of completely going under and you losing your money 100%. I'm gonna smack this option at level 9 on the risk spectrum and wrapping up what feels like an insanely long video. And if you had learned at least one new thing in this video, I think it's only fair that you will smack the like button and drop a quick comment in regards to what you would consider to invest in next. I will read and reply to every single one of those bad boys, and make sure to check out other videos on this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.